Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1. I have my latest video, which I'm so proud of. I'm so thankful for a lot of the confirmations I've been given from the Lord recently, more than ever. This is unprecedented what I have right now. In fact, I have probably 10 times more like normal, but 10 times more than I'm even going to possibly show you. Some of these things are so intricate that I haven't even figured out how to share them with you because they connect so well to Antichrist Obama and false prophet Francis and how they come together. So anyway, what I'm going to do is get right into it without any further ado. Okay, so here we go. I'm Exalted Lamb 1 on Telegram and also The Exalted Lamb 1 here on YouTube. My motto is having no part in the worthless deeds of darkness, but instead exposing them. Ephesians 5:11. Okay, there's a lot of people that out there that are ultra religious and all that kind of stuff that have a problem with, for some reason, I don't know why, have a problem with warning people of what's coming, even though that's what my Lord is requiring me to do, and that's because I know Him personally, my Lord Jesus, and then also, in general, that is a requirement for the watchman in the Bible to let people know before the sword comes or the blood is on your hands. And so that's it. And if you have a problem with that, or you have any negative stuff to share on this video in the comments, you delete it in 2 seconds. Bye-bye. Okay, so moving on. So I'm going to get right into the rule of colel in Freemasonry. Okay, I learned this a few years ago. And it was been massive to more of my understanding about how this stuff works, especially in gematria and other things. The Kabbalistic rule of colel states that one digit can be added to or subtracted from the gematria value of a word without affecting its value. This seems to modern ears to be a cheat. However, the Kabbalists explained the rule by pointing out that for them, one was not a number. The monad symbolizes the divinity and could come and go as he pleased, adding nothing and taking nothing away. Okay, so that's important. I really don't add a one, but I'll take it away, and that seems more fair. I mean, I could add a one, and in some situations I could, but I pretty much don't. So that's another thing that is on this in my favor when I'm sharing these things. And then I'm sharing this on May 25th, and it's funny because that is 57. 5, and then 5 plus 2 is 57. 57, but backwards, 25th of May. And on that day, now on the Julian calendar, and this is the day I'm sharing this today on the Gregorian, is when Manhattan's going to have a nuxels. Okay, and I say it that way: nuxels and Manhattans. I've said for years. Okay, and then Trumple's going to die there in Trumple Tower. Okay, and that's in so much predictive programming I've shared over the years. So much, it's a mass amount. So again, I'm going to share certain things in this video. I can share a lot more on each subject, on each thing, but I'm going to have to kind of make it somewhat concise and not get into tons of detail about everything. So, but 57 is massive, and I'm going to show how it's in the astrological blueprint out there that the Lord showed me about this, and it's just amazing. So 57 is a form of judgment. So that's why nuxels equals 57, and then backwards, 25th of May is also 5, 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. Okay, and I'm going to show that to you more. And it's just funny that I'm doing this on May 25th on the Gregorian, but it's going to be 13 days from now when the 7th and 8th day happen. The 7th day, again, the 7th day, 5th month, 7th day. I'm going to get into all this here. So this is the timeline. This is the Julian calendar, and then this is the Gregorian. When it's happening for the people who know the Gregorian, then basically 13 days earlier, or this is the date on the Julian. When this is exactly happening on the Gregorian, anybody who would be following the Julian, this would be the date. And they do this for a number of reasons. So they can hide what they're doing in their programming and relate it to these days, which are actually these days also, but they're just on a different calendar. That's all. But the same time frame, but on a different numerology. But as I found in the May timeline, that all these things are matching up. And watch my last video if you want to see that. And all these things match up with Trumple and Obama and Robo-Pope, because he's coming back to life. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to get into what those are here. And then the difference between the Julian and Gregorian is 13 days. And I've proven that out. It was 11-day shift back when United States accepted in 1752, but then because of the loss or the amount of daylight lost over these amount of years since 1752, it's a 2-day difference added to the 11-day difference, and that's 13 days. Okay, moving on here. This is so crazy regarding the Pope who died recently, and I've been putting it out there. He's gonna come back to life, and for a lot of people, it seems impossible. It seems, way too crazy. Okay, but it is true. You're gonna see this. You're gonna be shocked. If you're still around, if you're not leaving with Jesus, you're going to be shocked to see that Stinky BO is going to show up on the main stage of the world and come back to life after he's killed on the 7th and 8th day. And I'm going to show this to you here soon. And then come back with his own prophet, his false prophet Francis. I've called him for years. So and I'm going to give you some of this evidence in this video here. So March 13th, 2013 is when false prophet Francis became Pope. Okay, and then basically going 12 years later to March 13th, 2025, what happened? There was a total lunar eclipse. Now, these lunar eclipses, especially when on specific days or even feast days, Jewish feast days, they're warnings. They're massive warnings. And I'm going to get into the tetrad blood moons that happened back in 2014, 2015, and the ones that are coming in 2032, 2033. And they're massive. Okay, so but in between these two dates, which is, again, 313 and 313, is 626 weeks. And that's hiding 266. The Pope Francis with a 266 Pope, and his number is very important because it's 2 6s and 1 6, which is 666. Because he's right alongside the Antichrist, who is 666, and he's 2 6s and 1 6, which is another form of 666. Okay, so. And then right here, hidden in March 13th, is the day May 31st. Because go backwards. They love doing everything backwards, upside down, and backwards, opposites. 31st of the 3rd month on the Roman calendar, because these are Roman. This all has Roman roots. It's the revised Roman Empire that's going to go into form eventually. And then the elites that run the world, they run on the Roman calendar. Okay, and they've admitted at different times, including Trump when he was campaigning back in 2016. He said, I was down there on 7/11 and people thought he made a mistake, but no, he was talking about Septem and then 11, okay? And that, but we think it's 9 and then 11, right? But Septem in Latin means 7. So he said 7/11 because that's what he's an elite. He's an elite. He's actually a Grand Master Freemason and also a great Grand Master Knights Templar. So our Grand Master, there's forms of the Grand Masters, but I'm not getting into all that. So anyway, and then so that's hiding that. Also, to prove that as well, is the year 2013 is 213, or the first day on the Gregorian. This is the pre-day. The pre-day is doesn't add up to 1. It's the one before that. And then these two first days here add up to 1. So on May 19th, 1 plus 9 is 10. You take away the 0, and that's 1. And then you have 2, and then 2 plus 1 is 3, and then 2 plus 2 is 4. And here, this is also a rare thing too, to basically have something on the Julian on the first day. You add 13 days, and you have something on the Gregorian that starts on the first day as well with 1. Okay, that's another, I haven't found that yet, except for this time frame. It's crazy. And then it has all these other things I'm going to be sharing, and even stuff I can't share because it's too much. So the day with 213 days left over is June 1st. Again, day with 213 days left over. So these are both showing this day, the pre-day, 531, hidden in 31st of the 3rd month, May, and then 213. And a lot of people say, yeah, whatever. Yeah, that seems like a stretch. Well, I'm going to show you more and more how that's correct. Okay, and then to this time, it's showing the same day, but in a different way. So you could do 31st of May, but also it's also showing 6-1. How? March is 3, and then that's 3 is 6, and then there's a 1 right there. 6-1, and then what is this showing? This is showing 519 in this year. How is that possible? We have 5, okay, so 519 over here. We have 6-1 right here, hidden in here, 3 and 3 and 1. And then we have 5. And then, as I've said in many past videos, I didn't get into in the beginning of this video, but 0 is hiding O. and O is either 15, the 15th letter of the alphabet, or 1 from 5 is 4. It could be that. But if it's 15, O is 15, and then you have 2 and 2. 15 plus 2 is 19. 519, right there. You have 519, and this is hiding 3, and 3 is 6, and 1. 6, 1. Okay, hopefully you follow me on this. This is crazy. And then what's crazy about this as well is on this eclipse day, exactly 40 days later is April 21st, the day the Pope died. Okay, or it was technically reported dead, based on the time zones here in the United States. It was actually April 20th over there, but as far as our time zone, and because it's based on our time zone in the United States, because we're Mystery Babylon is going to be destroyed to kick off the tribulation. Okay, and it's also a birth of the Antichrist. It's a birth that has been mentioned in Isaiah 66, that there is a birth and then the tribulation of the woman. So that's it, because the birth is bringing on the Antichrist, and it begins a tribulation after. It's like, whoever heard of a birth and then tribulation, the woman that travails. Okay, anyway, so that is a 40-day warning from this eclipse. So his life is a 40-day warning backwards from his death, going back to this, and then 40 days forward. 40. So there's him in the coffin here and everything, right? But that was his funeral. But as far as his death, that was April 21st, and then forward from his death, forward 40 days. So he is he is an example of the judgment, going 40 days back to the eclipse of the lunar eclipse, and then also going 40 days forward to the beginning of the timeline. That is the small version of the tribulation, kicking off the tribulation right here. Okay, so anyway, and then that's 40 days to there. Okay, and I'm going to show all kinds of evidence of this, including that when they did the papal conclave, which by the way was on May 7th, that's 5/7, and May 8th they actually elected the new pope. Now, him being elected doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with this pope being the 266th pope, and the new pope is the 267th pope. In fact, 267 is 26 plus 7, which is 6 plus 7 is 13, so 267 is 213. Again, their predictive programming this first day has 213 days left over. 267 is 2, 6 plus 7 is 13, and many other things. In fact, see this? 133 cardinals participated in the 2025 papal conclave. By the way, conclave equals Antichrist completely. 121 and 149 in English and reverse, and 133 cardinals. So again, look backwards: May the 3rd month and 31st. So that 133 cardinals, or you can even say 6. So it's May 31st or 6/1. See, it's both days, 6/1 and May 6/1 and May 31st on the Gregorian. And this was the largest number of cardinal electors in history, and a 2/3 majority, 89 votes. This is by the way, the Pope elected these, or put these in place to vote. Okay, which hey, that's not stacking the deck or anything. This is all. I mean, realize this: the Pope is not elected by anybody, really. These people are in this. They're in the same club, and they decide ahead of time with demons who's going to be the number one dude and all that. And it's its own country and everything. I mean, seriously, it's crazy. It's the most wealthy country in the world, and it's the smallest. Okay, with 89 votes. They're showing you right here what's going on, because that is May 31st plus 89. Okay, and that's May 31st. May 31st, which is also March 13th or 13th of March plus 89, or the eclipse also happened on the 14th. 13th, 14th plus 89 days is the birth of the Antichrist on June 11th. It's always been the 11th day, 11th and 12th day I've shared for years. Okay, so look, plus 89. It's right in front of your face. Now you could say, whatever, but watch. I'm going to share you a lot more stuff. And then also from Stinky B.O.'s, the 44th President's birth, to when iPad Goat was released on YouTube, it just happens to be exactly 611 months, and he's born on 6/11. I have a lot of these, and I'm going to share some of these on this video, okay? Also, this is a crazy thing. When iPad Goat was released on its own website, Heliofont, when Heliofont released their own movie, iPad Goat, on their own website on this date, and then you plug in 6 from the dates, over right here in months, and then 24 from the day in days, and then 20 from the year in weeks, and then 12 right here. You literally get the first attack day of the timeline. First attack day is 6/5. And again, if you don't know about how I do things with the timeline, if you want to see all the events in the whole timeline, like timeline I just showed you, from the pre-day and the first day all the way to the last day, the 14th day, and the post-day, it's pinned to the top of comments on this video. So in all the comments section, it's pinned to the very top. You see the whole list of all the events I'm predicting will happen in that time frame. Now, some of these things I've seen in dreams and visions as much as 10 years ago, and all the way up to now. But some of the more minor things I figured out through tons of predictive programming, symbolism, gematria, all kinds of stuff. And then I've had help from all kinds of people, including my good friend Constantine, who I've been working with the last couple years, and we've come together to really blow out a lot of this stuff and this predictive programming with these two, the Pope Mobile and also Stinky B.O. Beelzebub Butthead, the 44th Prez, okay? So anyway, if you plug these in like that, you literally get the first attack day. And then when iPad Go, like I told you earlier, was released on YouTube on July 3rd, 2012, and you plug the same, when it was released in general, 6/24/2012, and you plug these same in, you literally have the last attack day of the timeline. First attack day is when the first attacks started happening in the United States. People turn to zombies. At first, all the innocent children are taken. People turn to zombies that got the hokey pokey, and also the false alien invasion will happen on this day. And then this is the last day of the destruction of Babylon. 23 nukes was going off in 23 cities in the United States. It's all in my timeline, okay? Anyway, that's that. And then I shared this last year in January, just before January 11th. This was January 11th, the birth of Antichrist Obama, and I thought it might be right here because I realized that these tetrad blood moons in 2014 and 2014, 2015, and then one's coming in 2032, 2033. With working with Constantine, we kind of figured this out, that this thing right in the middle was as a center point. Okay, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So again, this was January 11th, 2024. This was a center point of right there. And then you had these blood moons on this side. And again, Passover, Sukkot, exactly on feast days. And then these ones that were coming in 2032, 2033. Perfect balance. And it's even more than this, and I'll show you here what that means. And then on this particular menorah, you have the Star of David. Most people don't know that the Star of David is a pagan symbol. It goes back to ritual sacrifice of children, all kinds of stuff. It's the Star of Moloch. But let me show you this. The Star of David is, look, 119, or maybe you can recognize the 11th of September, okay? But that upside down and backwards is, look, again, June 11th, the birth of the Antichrist. And then when does he die? He's reported dead on June 8th, or 1 from June 8th, 1 day minus June 8th, 1 in front of, just like Roman numerals, you have I from X, so your X is 10, and then I is 1, I from X is 1 from 10 is 9, or I from V is 1 from 5 is 4. So they do this all the time. When they have a 1 in front of something, it's 1 from this. So on my timeline, in June on the Gregorian calendar, June 8th is when it's reported that the Antichrist, Stinky B.O., and Trump will die in two different places. One will be in Trump will die with the neutrals going off in Manhattan, like I said earlier, and then it should be that Obama should had some kind of head wound in Hawaii where he was born. And he has property there and everything, a big, huge place. It's ridiculous. Anyway, 6/8, and then 1 from 6/8 is 6/7, June 7th and June 8th. And I'm going to show that more to you here soon. That's all in here, right here, Star of David, okay? And then to back that up even more, see, this is a menorah with these, which is symbolizing secretly the blood moons of 2014, 2015, and 2032, 2033. Wow, say this fast. It's a menorah. Menorah in ciphers of gematria. There are 6, 12, 14 ciphers, 6, 12, 14. The exact ones exactly equal Lucifer in 16 ciphers. And just if you don't realize, each cipher is a way of translating numbers to letters, a different system. And for these to match exactly in 16 different ciphers, it's completely planned. And I figured this out. It was something like 67 to the 23rd power or something like that, that this could be chance. And so that's like many zeros. It's off the charts. It's basically impossible. The only way these could line up exactly as if it was planned. So this is about, and I'm going to show you how this is about. This is Lucifer again. The Star of David is really the Star of Moloch, that people in the past, in ancient times, would sacrifice children and stuff to the Moloch, and this was a symbol. And people don't realize that I mean, it's 6 star. This is 666. I mean, anyway, if you don't know that, some people know that, but a lot of people don't. Okay, anyway, and then hiding in January 11th, all these things are hiding in their relationships to each other, things in between, and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to show you some of this. They're hiding all kinds of stuff, including this date. 111, by the way, January 11th, 111 is when the Pope died. He died on the 111th day of the year, which is opposite of 9-1-1 that happened back in 2001. Exactly opposite of the days of the year. 9-1-1 was the 254th day of the year with 111 days left over. The Pope died on the 111th day of the year with 254 days left over. And that's so much symbolism in this. Even in this date that's right in the center here is hiding this. Watch. January on the Roman calendar is the 12th month. No, it's not. Wow, I made a mistake here. January is actually 11th month, and I made a mistake here. Well, anyway, I'm going to go past this right now. I'm just going to make this point that Antichrist, I made a mistake here. I just realized that. I made a mistake. So anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put that just the fact that Antichrist is 726, and backwards that's 6, and then 2 is 1 plus 1. And then 7 is 2 plus 5. Okay, so that is hiding 6, 11, 25 as well. Okay, forget this right now. I can't go back and change it, but whatever. It has valid stuff in there, but I can't go back and explain it right now. And I made a mistake on one digit. I could actually add a digit to this and make it work, like rule of colel, but I'm not going to do that. So anyway, it's still completely valid. I just can't go back and explain it because I didn't set it up to explain it. Anyway, and then so we have 611, and then what's September 28th, 2015 to April 26th, 2032? 6,056 days, which is 611. What is this? Well, this is the more intricate balance of what I just showed you earlier. This is, again, January 11th, 2024, and there's a perfect balance of these tetrad blood moons. We have these annular eclipses, this annular eclipse, and this annular eclipse, and this annular eclipse, and this annular eclipse, which are separated by 6 years, 6 months, 6 weeks, and 6 days exactly. 6 months, 6 years, 6 months, 6 weeks, and 6 days. And these are separated exactly by the first or the last blood moon to the center point here, and this center point to this first blood moon, and these days in between the midpoints and everything, they're exactly the same. It's crazy. This is all amazing. And I found this with the help of Constantine last year, and it was mind-blowing. Some people even copied this in other videos and such, including Fletcher's. Anyway, and then because it was valid. And then so Star of David, this is crazy. Even to make this point, the Star of David is evil. 178 equals 178, and it just so happens to be that on the menorah with the Star of David right in the middle, on either side of these two annual, by the way, these are exactly annular eclipses, exactly annular, that they're all the same. They're not just a full eclipse, they're annular exactly. And on either side of this center point is 89 plus 89 is 178. And there's a Star of David in the middle of 89 plus 89, because there's 89 days in between these two. 89 plus 89 is 178. And then also, to prove that this is a Star of Moloch as well, is that 89 plus 89 is 178. But if you add exactly when this starts to exactly when this starts, because there's another about close to 24 hours, or just, I think, a little over 24 hours, it ends up being 179 days more precisely from there to there. And so these are both correct. And again, look at how close they are. They're off by 1 day, and that's exactly how many days in between when you add them together. And if you were to be more precise, the exactly days in between, including the time zones and stuff, when this starts to when this ends is 179 days. It's crazy. Hopefully that makes sense. And then 179 is not only 179, it's 1, and then 7 plus 9 is 16. Again, 11th of June, the birth of the Antichrist, which is a representation of who you sacrifice to Satan. You sacrifice to the star is a god Moloch that you sacrifice to Satan. Okay, that's what people did back then, not even realizing it probably. And who is 116? Oh, 116 just happens to be Barack Hussein Obama, and he's in reverse full reduction, which is one of the 4 base ciphers of all gematria. There's full reduction, there's reverse full, and there's regular English and reverse English. Those are the four base ciphers. And his name just happens to be 11th of June, hidden, 11th of June. I'm going to keep showing you that in a lot of different ways. In fact, if you look at Obama's birthday, August 4th, which, by the way, is backwards, June being the 4th month on the Roman calendar, 8th month, 8th day, June 8th, and that happens to be the day he's going to be reported as dead. June being the 4th month on the Roman calendar, 8th, backwards. And then if you were to flip this upside down and backwards, 19, it would be 616 and then a 1. So you go backwards as well. That shows you that's backwards, being June 8th, and you go backwards and you had 6. You flip this 19 upside down and backwards, you have 616. That's the day the tribulation starts. And then 1 from 616 backwards is 615, the last day of the timeline, without showing you right here. I just had to throw this in real quick because it just come to my mind right now. So you literally have the death of the Antichrist on June 8th reported, and then you have backwards, when you flip this 19 upside down and backwards, you have 1616, which is both of them, the false prophet Francis and Stinky BO, Antichrist Obama, will be introduced to the world on 6/15 and 6/16 of June, depending on your time zone, because there's a wide variety of time zones that make up 2 days, okay, in the world. So, and then you take his, to even make that more of a point as far as his birth. This was his birthday, and then his coming birthday, I've said, is June 11th. Well, what happens when you take his birthday in digital? Because digital doesn't hide. Digital shows the numbers for what they are. Really, you turn that upside down and backwards exactly, and then you have 19 plus 6 is 25, and then you bring down the 1. Again, 19 plus 6 is 25, bring down the 1, and then this becomes, the 4 becomes an H, and an H is the 8th of the alphabet, and then you have 8, 8, 8, and by the way, 8, 8 is hiding something that's, I'll show you in a second, because, for example, Trump is 88, and the Pope died at 88 years old and some change, okay? Because the 88 is hiding what? Now let's take this 2, 5, and 1 and bring it down. And 88 is hiding what? 8 plus 8 is 16. It's hiding June 1st or 1st of June. And in this case, it's completely backwards for the most part, is June 11th, 25. And that just happens to be in there. See all the June 11th, 11th of Junes I'm finding? And it's crazy, okay? Again, this is my best speculation about what's coming, the timeline and everything. But if I'm right, this is going to be insane, and it's on your doorstep a week from now, basically, okay, from when I'm doing this video on the 25th of May. So, and my birthday is in 4 days, which is a symbol of that as well. The birth of the Antichrist 13 days later. My birthday is May 29th. 13 days later is 6/11. And the Lord's told me for years, and I've shared this on some of my videos, that He told me for years that my birthday was significant. And I thought, oh, would it be on my birthday? But no, it looks like my birthday's on the Julian. 13 days later is 6/11, his birthday. And also my birthday is on 5/29. I'm going to show you that in a second, actually. Let's keep going. Okay, also to make a point, August 4th, when CKBO was born, again, 4/8, August 4th, spelled out. And by the way, I'll get into this in a second. August 4th just happens to be the 216th day of the year. And then August 4th in English, Sumerian, and reverse just happens to be 216 backwards. 2, 16, and 2, 8 plus 8 is 16. 216. And a lot of people don't know this. I've shared this in previous videos. But if you go from August 4th to the last moment of midnight in August 4th, and from that moment, midnight, to midnight of the last day of the year, December 31st, midnight, before you change over to the new year, when the ball drops and all the stuff in New York and all that, whatever. That's exactly from midnight here to midnight, the last night, going into the new year, is exactly, well, let me show you this first. So he was born on August 4th, 1961. 1961 spelled out, is 217 and 215. What's right in between there? 216. Again, 216th day of the year, August 4th. And then the year that spelled out, he was born on August 4th, 1961, is literally right in between here, 216. And then again, from midnight of August 4th to midnight of the last day, December 31st, is 216,000 minutes. 216, 216, 216, 216, 216. And if you don't know what's 216, it's 6 times 6 times 6. And I have hundreds more examples I've shared over the years of how Stinky BO, the 44th president, is the only one in history, the only one that exists out there that has hundreds and hundreds of examples, including these. There's just a few things I'm sharing, and I've shared tons over the years on my videos. That there's hundreds and hundreds of examples how he is Mr. 666, as well as Mr. 57. But okay, anyway, it's crazy. Okay, keep going. Including this, his birthday to when I say he's going to be born as the Antichrist. Again, he dies on June 7th, reported on June 8th, and then he comes back to life. Lightning falls from heaven. Satan is kicked out of heaven and strikes Stinky BO's dead body because he dies on the 7th, and reported on the 8th. Strikes his dead body on June 11th. Okay, and that's exactly 23,323 days. There's so much in this. In fact, Stinky BO, the 44th Prez, he wore jersey 23 when he's in was in high school, and Barack Hussein Obama in reverse English is 323. He is 23 and 323. He wore 23 jersey, and he is 323 Barack Hussein Obama in reverse English ordinal. And watch this. There's so much in this. So much in this. I can't even get to all the stuff. 2 times 33, or 2 33s, that's another way they hide stuff. 2 33s is 66, and 2 3s is 6. See? And check this out. The 23,323rd prime is, what is it? It is 266,111. And what is that telling me? A lot of things. It's telling me that the 266th Pope, which he's related to in so many ways, and I've showed how they're related to each other hundreds of ways, the false prophet Francis and Barack Hussein Obama, and I'm going to show more things in this video as well. And I've showed it over the years, tons of things that are indisputable, how they're so connected. But this is the 266th Pope dying on the 111th day of the year, June 21st. And it's also this 266th day of the year is when they both met in the United States, and then also the Pope addressed Congress and all kinds of stuff. But that was their massive meeting. This was a courtship for their eventual marriage, and that's what's in my thumbnail. On this video, it's from the movie Legend, and this girl Lily, this guy Darkness, who's the devil, wants to marry Lily without, and Stinky BO was in a situation with the Pope where they were taking pictures, and he had the Air Force Academy logo Air Force right behind his head. It looked like horns, and then he is Lily. Anyway, and they exchange gifts, and they had the pre-stuff for their marriage, and they were going to consummate their marriage later, or basically get married technically on 6/15 and 6/16/2025. But right here where they got together and supposedly met for the first time, which I don't believe, met for the first time in front of the world, was the 266th day, and then the Pope dies on the 111th day of the year. And that's 266 and 111. Okay, there's so much going on here. And then if you go from that day to the death they both got together, again, that's a form of a birth. And then his death, the Pope's death, is 3,499 days. Well, there's also stuff right here, because you have 99, and that's 99 right here. See, 99, and then 3/4 is hiding 21st of June. Wow, 21st of April, because June's also the 4th month of the Roman calendar. Anyway, but see, 2 plus 1 is 3, and 4. So you literally have how these associate with these 2 days. That associates with this day, and this associates with that day secretly. And what's crazy about this is, in Strong's Concordance, 3499 is Nekru. Ready? Remember, Pope died on this day. Nekru means to put to death. This guy, Pope died to render ineffective, to deprive of power. He was the Pope. He had the pinnacle of power, and he was put to death, deprived of power on this exact day. And there it is right there, 3499. When they met, technically, I mean, who knows what, I think they met before that, but to the world as far as when they met, and then when he dies, right there, boom. This is insane. This is crazy. If you don't know about the Strong's Concordance, it's basically like a dictionary of the Bible, and Strong's is synced to the King James Version of the Bible and stuff. Anyway, it's a study aid for all the words in the Bible. Basically, it has definitions and numbers for each word. So anyway, and other things. So this is the timeline right here. Now watch. Now we're going to take the Pope's birthday and go to Obama's birthday. Again, I've showed how they're linked so many ways. Here's another way. The Pope's birthday to Obama's birthday. And watch this, okay? If you add to the Pope's birthday 266 months, again, they met on the 266th day, 9/23/2015, with 99 days left over. Then you add 266 months, 99 weeks, and then their CKBO. Remember, the Pope died on 4/21, and that was shown in those numbers. And this is when Obama's going to die, the day with 207 days left over. So you plug these numbers in, you get that's the 207th day left over. What I've said, he would die on June 7th, reported on June 8th. And by the way, June 8th is 6/8. Barack Obama equals 68. And Barack Hussein Obama equals 163. And his two birthdays, 11th to 12th day, depending on your time zone, is 163. Barack Hussein Obama in English ordinal is 163. Okay, and then you have all these numbers over here, which is crazy. It's all coordinates together. Hopefully that makes sense. Literally, they met on the 266th day with 99 days left over. He's going to die on the day with 207 days left over, and that's exactly in between both their birthdays? I don't think so. That is off the charts impossible. Now, let's try this. This is insane. Again, Obama was born on the 216th day of the year, and there are 365 days in a year. So you have to say the day he was born, the 216th day of the year, divided by 365, and that equals 0.59. It's almost 60% of the year. But watch this. 591780782, whatever. Watch. 5. Ooh, look backward. That's 519. And then 7 plus 8 is 15. Bring that down. 8 plus 2 is 10. Now let's keep reducing. They hide things through they call it they call it compressing and decompressing numbers. That's what the elite call it. And I've caught them many times saying that, compressing or decompressing numbers. Okay, so right here, 5, or they just reverse them. So 5 and then 19 backwards right there. And then you have 7 plus 8 is 15, 8 plus 2 is 10. Now watch. Bring the 519 down, and then 1 plus 5 is 6, and then 10 can be, the O can be 15 or something, but sometimes 0 can just be 0. And then bring the 1 down by itself, boom. And look, we have the first 2 days, 519, and 61. His birth, hidden in his birthday, divided by how many days of the year? Hidden, these 2 days. And that's a coincidence off the charts? I don't think so. You could think that, but if you use your brain, you'd realize there's no way that could be, especially when I'm showing you bam, 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 thing after thing after thing. Now watch this. Also, he was born on the 216th day of the year. Well, like I said, my birthday is 5/29, the 149th day of the year with 216 days left over. So if his birth is on 6/11 or 13 days earlier, 5/29, he's also born on 2/16, the day with 216 days left over. He's born on 216th day of the year, August 4th, but he'll be born as the Antichrist on the day with 216 day of the year, the day with 216 days left over, and May 29th, my birthday, which is exactly opposite of his birthday, the 260th day of the year with 149 days left over, and you add 13 days, and that's where he's going to be born, 6/11. Hopefully that makes sense. Wow. Now we're going to take this, we're going to do this backwards, because again, CKBO is born on the 216th day of the year with 149 days left over. My birthday is May 29th, the 149th day of the year with 216 days left over. But let's use it as his birthday, but we're going to do it backwards. We're going to, because they do everything backwards and upside down and backwards and opposites and all kinds of stuff. So again, he was born on the 216th day of the year with 149 days left over. So we're going to go bam here. 6, 1, 1. 2 plus 9 plus 14. 2 plus 9 plus 14 is 25. Look, the first day, 6/1/25. In his day of birth and days left over backwards, because I put this over here and this one over here, day of the year he's born and days left over, and we go read it backwards, and you have 6/1/25, the exact year and everything. Right there, 6/1 again. And then 2/16, again, he was born on the 216th day of the year. Backwards is 6/12. The other day is going to be born 6. Remember I said 6/11 and 6/12. So 2/16 is exactly backwards 6/12. 6/12. And guess what 6/12 is? 6 and then 12 is 6 plus. Well, there it is right there. Okay. And then 6/12. He's going to be born on 6/11 and 6/12. Well, what's 6/12 also? 6/12 is 6, and then 12 is 6 plus 6. Or he's going to be born on so many 666s. He was born on the 216th day of the year, which is 6 times 6 times 6. He's going to be born as on 6/11, which is all the stuff I showed you, which is 9, 1, and 1 upside down, backwards and backwards. And then 6/12 is 6, 6 plus 6. It just goes and goes and goes. And then his birthday, his 63rd birthday back in August 4th of last year to the first of the year. So a brand new year is 151 days from his birthday. There's a reason for all this. Again, you may think, oh, this is all chance and all that. Well, you'd be wrong, and you're not too bright, unfortunately, because you don't know how numerology works, both God's numerology and the enemy's numerology, and they run the world. I'm sorry, Kabbalists or Kabbalists, they run the whole entire world. And if you haven't figured that out yet, you're missing a big part of life. The ruling families, the 13 ruling families that run the entire world, that use everybody's leaders as puppets and actors and everybody else as puppets in this whole play of life, like Shakespeare called it, he called it a big act, okay, which it is. They run the world with numbers, and they control the masses through numbers from letters. That's a fact. If you don't know, and I'm sorry if you don't know this, you need to look at this. I mean, and you need to understand what I'm sharing with you. Okay, you really do, because it will come to bite you so hard, and it's about to. And then they're coming with the hokey pokey, I should say. I could call it something else. I call it the hokey pokey. That's going to turn people into the people that already taken it. They'll turn into zombies, but the other people that are going to take it, some other version of it, they're going to take what they call the mark, and it's going to be permanent, and you're going to be forever you're going to be forever irredeemable. And that's coming very soon with this great deception, with the alien deception that's coming as soon as Stinky B.O. and the false prophet Francis and Antichrist Obama both get on the scene after the United States is completely destroyed. Then right after that time, then the so-called benevolent aliens will show up. These fake aliens in fake ships. Most of them will be projected in the sky through Project Bluebeam. And then they'll have ones that come down from those that are real high-tech advanced craft. And they'll come and say, oh, hey, we're your benevolent aliens. We created you. And then they'll basically get rid of God and everything. And the Catholic Church will fall right in line. This new Pope will fall right in line with CBO and false prophet Francis. And the whole Catholic Church will basically support with their evidence that they've had for years. They've literally put Catholic churches over, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, over these sites where there were all this Nephilim bones and relics and all kinds of stuff, and they excavated all this stuff and stole it all. So but they'll come back with all this stuff, and they'll show how, and say that these aliens were these people that did this, but they were Nephilim back then. All kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, this is all coming. It's the great delusion that the Bible talks about, which will snuff out God for the people who don't realize it. And the Bible says if it were possible, even the most faithful would be deceived. But it's not possible, because the most faithful people will be taken away before that even happened, or before they could be deceived. They'll be taken off the planet. The most faithful will be raptured out. When we'll be coming back to basically harvest the planet. Okay, so anyway, that's all another thing too. I have links in the description box below on the very bottom for some of these different downloadable documents that cover the 144,000, who they really are, the innocent children, and all the scriptures that show all the innocent children will be taken on the 4th and 5th day, and also other things. So that's crazy. It's all in I have 3 downloadable documents that have scriptures. So I'm trying to talk better. This is hard. I'm tired, and please forgive me for not talking, and I have a lot to say, so I got to get it all out. So anyway, so that 151 from Obama's last birthday to January 1st, which starts a new time frame, is 151 right there. 151st day of the year is May 31st, which is starting a new time frame. It's basically it's like the pre to the tribulation. It's a pre-trib almost. It's a 16-day process that will kick off the tribulation. Okay, so that's again starting a new time frame. Okay, this new time frame right here. Okay, like Obama's birthday to that time frame, to a new year, a new age is starting. Okay, and then also when Trump was inaugurated, or even when Obama was, or all presidents, it's all a blueprint for programming to the first day, which is, look, 133. Remember the eclipse that was on the 13th of April, and then, sorry, wow, 13th of March, and that's also backwards, May 31st. Oh, look, see, May 31st, May the third month, 31st backwards, and 151, they're both the first day, see? And again, birth of Obama is his birthday, from his birth on August 4th, and his birth as a president, January 20th. His inauguration as a 56th and 57th president on January 20th, on those years that he was. So anyway, it's crazy. And then let's look at this numerology for the 5-7. Stinky BO, like I said, when I was talking about in the beginning, Nuxels and Manhattans is both 57. The day it's going to happen is the 7th day. 5th month, 7th day. The first day is on 5, and then 19, that's 1, and then this is 7, is 2 plus 5 is 7. Okay, so when I call him Mr. 57 is because first off, on the Julian calendar, May 25th, the numerology for today that I'm doing this right now, May 25th on the Gregorian, but it's going to be 13 days later, it's going to be 6-7. But when you go back to the Julian on the same day, it's 525. That's what I was sharing earlier. But Obama's 57, Mr. 50, call him Mr. 57, because that represents 5th month, 7th day. 5th month is May, 7th day would be 25. 2 plus 5 is 7. It also, Mr. 57 is also the count, which is 5 months and 7 days. So June 7th is 5 months and 7 days into the year. So 5 full months, January, February, March, April, May. That's 5 full months, so that goes to the end of May, because that's 5 full months. January, February, March, April, May. And then we go into June. 7 days into June, and that's 6-7. See? So that's the count. He's Mr. 57 that way. 57, 5th month, 7th day. Mr. 57, 5 months, counting in, and 7 days. That's called I call it the count. I call it that. I don't want anybody else to even know. Most people don't even realize that. Okay, and then 57 is also the numerology of the day, which is 5-7, and then this is 5-7 because June 7th is the 158th day of the year, or like Roman numerals, 1 from 5-8 is 5-7. 5-7, 5-7, or 57, 57, 57, 57. Okay, he's Mr. 57, and it has to do with judgment. And that's when he's going to die, including he will die. Looks like in Hawaii, and then Trump will die in New York. And again, they're both they're going to die on this day, the 7th day, and it's going to be reported on the 8th day. Again, it depends on your time zone and all that stuff too. Okay, so and then look, his full name, Donald John Trump, it just happens to be not only the pre-day on the Julian, which is 5-18, but also 185 or 185. Sometimes they're a little mixed, and that's the way it goes because they have to hide it. They're not going to show you everything exactly how it is because anybody would figure it out. And then you have 68. Oh, look, June 8th is when he's going to be reported dead. And by the way, that's also Barack Obama equals 68. And then he's going to be born. Then he's going to die on exactly the day on the Julian calendar. That's 220 days left over. Donald John Trump, 220. Crazy. 220 is also, O is also 15, or 1 plus 5 is 6. The day with 226 days left over is the sec is May 19th. Sorry. May 19th is a day with 226 days left over. Yeah, it's 100. Yeah, anyway, so just so you know. And then right here, 7-6. 7-6 is this day. 7th of June backwards, or June 7th backwards, 7-6. So he's all in here with his numbers, and he has many more numbers that have the first days, the last days. In fact, the last days I'll get into in a second here. Oh, by the way, Trumple is the last days because the last days are June 15th and June 16th. Okay, so June 15th is, I'm sorry, June 14th. Sorry, the last days of the timeline are June 14th and June 15th, and then they're introduced to the world of tribulation starts on 6/16. So June 16th. The last 2 days of timeline are June 14th and June 15th. Well, Trump's birthday is on June 14th. And then, in a sense, on a leap year, his birthday is a day later. So, in a sense, that represents June 15th. So, that's also how he's this timeline as well, in so many ways. And then, another way, I've shared over 50 different ways that Obama's Mr. 57. He had the 57th inauguration of president. He said, I've been to 57 states. And people thought, again, like Trump said, I was down there in 7-Eleven. It's all programming, okay? It's by the way, when Trump said he was down there in 7-Eleven, it was 7 and 11 is 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. They were 270. See, he's saying when he's going to die, he was down there on 7, and then 1 and 1 is 2. Backwards. Okay, I'm just telling you. Okay, and then Obama said when he was campaigning back in, what year was that? 2008? Yeah, he said, according to this AZ quotes and many others, I've been to 57 states. 57 states. But that's not actually what he said. It's not accurate. He literally said something else. And according to the video where he actually was when he said this, I know what he actually said. He did say 57 states, which is 5. 1 plus 6 is 7. Again, he's Mr. 57. And he said 57 states because he's Mr. 57. And states equals 57. And all kinds of stuff. It's just crazy. The whole thing, all kinds of aspects of the different sentences he said and different words he said are 57. I'm not getting into all that. But he said, I was in 57 states. See, this quote says, been to 57 states, but he says, I've been in 57 states. Who says I've been in 57 states? In? Nobody. He said it because it's the numbers. He's been in 57 states. Been in, you always say you've been to. In fact, it's so common to say you've been to 57 states that all the quotes say, except for the ones who have them verbatim, like some news reports and stuff, but almost every other quote says, I've been to. And he didn't even say I've been to. He said, I'll show you what he actually says. But in 57 states is also 5, 6 plus 6 is, 5, 8 plus 8 is 16. So that's 516 also. In reverse English, that's English Sumerian. That's reverse. By the way, English Sumerian is 6 times English ordinal. Okay, and then reverse. So that's 516 and 516. They both are 5, 7. And then, so also, if you do it this way, in 57 states, again, what's 119 or 91 and then 1 backwards? It's 611, upside down and backwards, like I showed you earlier. 121 is Antichrist. 5 plus 6 is 411. June is the 4th month of Roman calendar, so that's June 11th as well. And this upside down and backwards is June 11th. 611, June 11th, 411, and then 666, because he's 666. Okay, but the whole thing he said was, I've now been in, see, it's not even quoted right. He doesn't say, it says, I've now been in 57 states. See, they quote it wrong. Because it's gematria, and they didn't quote it, so this is what he actually said. I've now been in 57 states, I think 1 left to go. Alaska and Hawaii, I was not allowed to go to, Alaska and Hawaii I was not allowed to go to, even though I really wanted to visit, but my staff would not justify it. Okay, flying across the water to Hawaii and then going all the way up to Alaska. That makes sense, but it's all gematria. In fact, this whole statement in English ordinal is exactly backwards 216. Remember I showed you all the 216s? He's Mr. 216, which is 6 times 6 times 6, of course, but it's also other things. So when you plug this all in Gematrinator right here, and it keeps going past this, but you can just see it in this bar, but it keeps going, this whole thing is plugged into here. You get these. Now I'm going to plug these in right here next to these in English in reverse and it's English Sumerian in reverse. And I'm going to show you how these are in this timeline like crazy. And even more than in this many other things. But remember, I said this is 216 backwards when he was born, the 216th day of the year. It's also 162. Take away the 0, 162. What's the 116th day of the year? Oh, wait, there's 216. That's right here. And that also has to do with when he's born because it's the day with 216 days left over. The Antichrist is born on this date, May 29th on Julian, and 611 on there. But it's also 162, which is what? The 611 is the 162nd day of the year. Look, see? And it's 216, which is over here, confirming this day on the Julian and on the Gregorian. 162nd day of the year, 611, and I showed you how 991 and then 1 backwards, or 111, or 11th of September backwards, upside down and backwards is 611. That's crazy. And then right here is 1851. Well, what's that? Well, that's also, if you go backwards, or you could do it this way: 18th of May plus 1. 18th of May 18th plus 1 is May 19th. Again, the 2 first days. But it's also over here. It's this. 158. So now you go backwards. 158. 158, the day he dies. 67. 158, the 158th day of the year. Plus 1. 158 plus 1 is 159. The day he dies, and the reported day is 68. God, this is a lot to say. This is a lot to say. Keep trying to explain. So just keep that in mind. If I'm not saying it perfectly, or I slur some words here or there, because there's a lot to say, I'm saying a lot, or people say, "Oh, you ramble." No, if I'm rambling, I'm just explaining a lot. And just sorry if you can't handle all the details and all the exact information, because it's a lot, and I'm trying to spew out all this stuff, all these details, and all these numbers and everything. So cut a guy a break, would you? And if you don't like it, go. Bye. See ya later. Okay, anyway, so that's not only the first days, but it's also the days he dies. Both. Okay, it's crazy. And then, yeah, both right there. See? 158 and 158 plus 1 backwards. 158 day of the year, 159. Okay, going to this one now. Remember I showed you in the very beginning that Manhattan equals this, 552. And with 9, anything you add 9 to stays the same. So you can get rid of 9, or 9 is hiding 2 plus 2 plus 5. So you can go exactly backwards, and you could go either 25th of May and get rid of the 9, because anything you add 9 to stays the same, or you can go 25th of May, and the 9 is hiding 2 plus 2 plus 5, 25th of May, 2025. And there it is, 25th of May, the day he dies, and it'll go across here, that's the Julian, and it's actually going to be June 7th. Okay, now let's go over here. This is many things, because O can also be 15 or 4, but I'm just going to cover this right here because I'm done talking about all this. I want to move on to the next thing. Backwards, June 14th and June 14 plus 1. June 14th and June 15th. June 14th, the last day, again, that's Trumple's birthday, and June 15th. And let me go back here. Why is June 15th important? Because Trumple was born on a leap year. Trumple his birthday will be on the 166th day of the year, which will be 614, but it'll be 166. So see how Trumple, his birthday is also the demise of the United States, and that's important. All their numbers, Trumple, Obama, Pope, they're all fit in here in so many ways. It's unreal. And I could do a 3-hour video just on that. And I'm showing you some of it, okay? So again, June 14th plus 1. June 14th, June 15th, last 2 days. And June 15th. Boom, that's what it is. Okay, again, we have this whole balance thing that is balanced there. Now watch this. If you go from that balance thing in the center with the center part here to the first day of the timeline, and this is the timeline here. This light pink spot here is this timeline, and then after that runs into this, which is the 7 years of tribulation, 7 prophetic years of tribulation that butt up against this first blood moon. And I'm saying the tribulation is right in here. It fits perfect with this. So if you go from January 11th right here to the first day here, you go boom to boom. The first day of the timeline to this is, look, 57. Get it? 57. It's 507 or 5, but it's 57. Mr. 57. Get it? Okay, that's how many days. You're like, yeah, whatever. That's just, that's just chance, whatever. What about this? From this, bam, the last blood moon, the tetrad blood moons in 2014, 2015, to the last day of the timeline is 557 weeks, or 507 weeks. Get it? 57 weeks. And that's another coincidence. So you have from here to here, first day, from this to the first day is 507 days, and from this to the last day of the timeline is 507 weeks, or 57 weeks. Get it? 57. And also in between this midpoint and the last blood moon here, and this midpoint of January 11, 2024, and the first blood moon here is Both are exactly balanced. I'm just covering this up right now, but I can go back here. This 3,027 days, 3,027 days exactly balanced. That is 3 plus 2 is 5, and 0 and 7, 57. See? 3 plus 2 is 5, 0, 7. And these are exactly balanced. There's many more, but I'm not going to get into all of them. I'm just not. It's crazy. And then what you also have here is from the first day also of the timeline, which is the pre-day is 531, and the first day is 6-1 right there, right at the beginning. Again, this is the whole timeline right here. Again, the best I could do, this is not exactly accurate, of course, but it's close. I mean, well, not really close, but it's the best you could do because there's a lot to fit in this little area. And you got to kind of just guesstimate here. So June 1st, right there, boom, to April 25th, right there, okay, is the blood moon, the first blood moon of this tetrad, is exactly 2,520 days, which is exactly 7 prophetic years. And this is in the Bible, 2,520 days, 7 prophetic years, which is the tribulation. It just happens to be exactly that. When the first day, which is like a mini tribulation, and I've said Jesus to me called it the height of sorrows. All back here is the beginning of sorrows. And this is the height of sorrows right here, and then the tribulation begins right here. Or you could call it a mini tribulation to kick off the real tribulation. And whether you believe it or not, it's coming, and the tribulation is 2 sets of 3.5 years, 3.5 prophetic years that shows in the Bible. Some people teach other crud, and it's not true. There are 7 prophetic years of tribulation total, and the Antichrist will have 42 of control in the first half, and then the last half will be God's wrath, and it'll be out of control. It'll be just insane. But right there, and it just so happens that right over here, like right before the timeline, right in here, right in there. Oh wait, one more thing I'm going to share with you. Right inside in between these two somewhere is this other annual eclipse, and this annual eclipse in 2030 is literally on 531 and 6-1, reconfirming that. See, these are only annual eclipses that are perfectly balanced in here and over here. See how they're perfectly balanced here? This is the center point. And again, this is all telling the story, and I think I'm deciphering it 100%. Enough, anyway. And this is confirming the first day. And then this eclipse is exactly on 531 and 6-1. The first day is on 531 and 6-1. And that's exactly 5 years later. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. It's not exact. It's not really in the midpoint here, but this should be over a little bit more. And it doesn't matter. It's represent. And then just before this first day of the timeline, right in here was a Pope's funeral. And from the Pope's funeral to this blood moon, again, the blood moon is on the 25th and the 26th. All these things are usually 2 days. From the Pope's funeral, again, he's a marker of judgment. Like I showed you, the 40 days to him from the blood moon and the 40 days after him to the first day of the timeline, he's judgment. I'm going to show you how the Pope pretty soon here is judgment. But he's judgment. He's marking judgment and these judgments that are coming in this timeline. So from his funeral on April 26th, marked out exactly 7 Gregorian years to this blood moon on the 25th and 26th. 7 years. So you have 7 years of 7 prophetic years. 2,520 days is 7 prophetic years. Each month is a 30-day period, and each year is 360 days times 7, or 7 Gregorian years from a Pope's funeral to this blood moon right here. And that's a coincidence off the charts? I don't think so. It's massive. And Pope just happens to equal pride. And do you think it's a little bit prideful to call yourself the vicar of Christ, to sit in his seat when Jesus is alive? Jesus is alive, for crying out loud. This guy is he was a sick, twisted person, and he was a demon in a flesh suit. Whoever the Pope was, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, whoever he was as a child, is long gone. He's way down deep down there, and this demon who's taken him over through ritual sacrifice and all kinds of stuff, and all kinds of things, I don't even want to talk about. His pride is so high that he exalts himself above Jesus to put him in his seat for the world. and take Jesus' place, who's alive and kicking and who's ruling at the right hand of God right now, but who's planning on his usurping the throne of Satan in this world and is going to come and take it over at some point, but he's letting some of this play out for a certain amount of time, the tribulation, all that stuff and everything. Are you kidding me? I mean, seriously, that is pride. And look how Pope equals pride and what that means also. Look, again, that's 52 and 312. Well, what is that? 312 is backwards 213. Again, the day with 213 days left over is June 1st, the first day on the Gregorian. And then you follow that backwards. The day with 213 days of the year, 213 days left in the year of year 25. Okay, we're going backwards. 213 days left in the year of the year 25. And pride is that also. And why am I talking about pride? That's June 1st. Okay, because pride cometh before the fall, the Bible says. And pride, Pope Francis, equals Pride Month also. And Pride Month starts on June 1st. Oh, the pride comes before the fall is in the Bible. Okay? Pride is coming. And it's on June 1st. And I'm going to show you what that means here in a second. Now watch. And then judgment. Pope Francis and Pride Month equal judgment. That's when judgment's coming on Pride Month. And Pope Francis is a symbol of judgment. See how these numbers are 122, 122, 732. What are these numbers? I'm going to show you. Right here, it's 75. 7, 3 plus 2 is 5, which is 57. Mr. 57 backwards. Again, it's backwards. 57. And then what's this? 212 backwards. 212. Well, first of all, 57, 57. I'll show you how all this is 57. Remember, 57, 5th month, 7th day, and all that stuff. Okay? And this is 1 from 58 is 57, all that. Okay, that's 57. Okay, and then what's this? 212 backwards. It's 212 backwards. 2 and then 12. 212 is right here, the last day. 212 on the Julian. And then that day is this day, 6/15, the day with 199 days left over. It's crazy. Bam. And then, again, the height of pride, he is the Bishop of Rome. His if you were to look up, I've looked up in the past, his biggest title is he's the Vicar of Christ also, and all. He has many names. But his biggest title is the Bishop of Rome. The Bishop of Rome. And the Bishop of Rome in 12 ciphers of gematria equals exactly the false prophet. Okay, and if you have any question that he is, this absolutely proves it. You cannot disprove this. You cannot disprove this. Every one of these ciphers, Satanic Reverse, Francis Baconus, all this, Francis Bacon, English Ordinal, all this Jewish Ordinal. I mean, all these are all matched 100%. The chance of these two matching in 12 ciphers of gematria, okay, is off the charts. It's off the charts. Like the other one I showed you about 16 how he menorah equals Lucifer. This proves that's planned. This is like, I forget what this is, like 23 to the some 15th power or something like that. It's something ridiculous like that. This absolutely proves it. I bring stuff that proves it. This proves it. You cannot disprove this. So for a fact, because of this, if you understand at all how numbers work, or if you don't, you don't. You just don't. But the false prophet is going to be the Bishop of Rome. Now you could say which one. You could say the new one, or you could say, is it going to be the Pope? I mean, the Pope Francis. But I'm showing you that it's going to be Pope Francis. He's going to come back to life. You'll see. You'll see. I mean, or you'll be gone and eventually you'll see somehow from heaven. Anyway, whatever. You'll see. It's going to prove. I absolutely guarantee it is the case because I've seen it from dreams and visions from the Lord, and it's been proven. This is absolutely ironclad. You cannot disprove this. Nobody can. Nobody has. Okay, and then right here, Pope. As simple as this. I'm going to show you how the Pope. The word Pope is the first day, and first days and the last days. Watch. Pope, and so Pope P is 16, so I'm doing a top and bottom. O is 15, P is 16, 5 is 5. Okay, E is 5, sorry. And then, so let's do it from the top. 5, and then 16 plus 15 is 31. And then 1 plus 6 is 7, and 7 is hiding 2 plus 5. So that's 531 right there, 531, the pre-day. And that's a massive coincidence? You can think that if you want. Now, how is it the last days? Watch. Okay, just like you saw how this was 6-1 and now it's Pope, okay? This Pope is also, see that how this just Pope in Gematria is 6-1, and then we have 531. So it's both days. See, 531 Pope spelled out to each letter, but then Pope added up, and then a total is 6-1, and then Pope right here is, so it's 531 and 6-1, Gematria and separate letters together. Okay, you see that? Okay, anyway. Now let's look down here. Watch this. We have 615. Oh, what's 615? Oh, that's the last day. That's the post day. 615, when the Pope, and the very last day when the United States is nuxels, and even including in that day is when the Robo Pope comes back to life, and Antichrist Obama, and they both are in front of the world on 615/616. That's why they're both the same light pink color. Okay, and it's still the last day. These two are last days on the timeline. Okay, so 615. Then what do we have right here? Oh, then we have 1 from 615, which is 614. June 4th, June 15th, and then 1 from 615 to 614. And then to confirm that even more, what's 614? The 165th day of the year right there. June 14th, 1 from 615 is June 14th, the 165th day of the year right there. Boom. First day in both Pope and Gematria, and then individual letters is 531 and 6-1, and then this is both last days, 614 and 615. Bam. And now pride, because of his pride, he's lifted up and he's removed from power, like it showed you. Anyway, well, I'm going to show you something else that's crazy. Okay, pride is, oh, just the same. Oh, 5, huh? And then look, 4 plus 9 plus 18 is just happens to be 31 again. And then look, they have the P in the end. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 is higher than 2 plus 5. And so pride just happens to be the same. And pride starts in the same month. It's June 6-1. And begins on 6-1. And these are both 531, 531, 25, 531, 25. I don't think so. And again, we also have 6-1. Okay? Crazy, because that's when pride starts. 6-1. Pride month starts on 6-1, okay? And then what's Proverbs 16:18? And then what's that? That's 1st of June, and then 1 plus 8 is 9, and 9 is hiding 2 plus 2 plus 5. So 1st of June, 2025. And what's in Proverbs 6, pretty much in Proverbs 6:18? Pride cometh before the fall, which is the day with 231 days left over. What was that? Day with 231 days left over. Sorry, 213 days left over. Right here, 6-1. Okay. 213 days, because it's switch a little bit. 3 in the 1 is 213, or put this 2 in the 1 over here. 213 to show you how it's double enforced right here. 213 because it's hiding, to switch the 3 in the 1 and the 1 in the 2. The day with 213 days left over is right here. 6-1. Okay. 213 days left over. Okay. In what? Backwards 2025. Pride of coming for the fall on June 1st, the day with 213 days left over in 2025. And what's also cool about this number 2502 or 2025 in a sense, also the exact day I started my YouTube channel, August 5th, 2018, I was told by the Lord that he wanted me to start it on Obama's birthday, the day before August. By the way, guess what birthday that was? His 57th birthday. And I'm supposed to talk about 57, yes, and it's in the stars and everything. It's in the moons and all this stuff, and so many things. Yeah, it is. I just can't get into all of it right now, and I won't, because I'm just showing you what I got to show you right now. That was his 57th birthday, he told me, and then the next day I did it, and that was August 5th. From August 5th to the day, I believe the faithful, including me and my friends and other people, the faithful, 144,000 leave, is going to be June 11th. And look, 2502 or 2025 backwards. 2502, look, pride comes before the fall, 2502. And what's 2502 in Hebrew, in the Strong's Hebrew Concordance? 2502 is to draw out, to deliver, to equip, to rescue. And I told you I'm leaving on this day, whatever day. And I just, it's my best guess. Okay, the 11th/12th day is the day when lightning falls from heaven. Lucifer is kicked out of heaven. It goes into Stinky Bio's dead body, and he comes back to life, and he is the Antichrist, and he is the Antichrist. That same day, that same time, that the restrainer is taken away, and then we are taken. The faithful are taken into heaven at the same time. It's a twin birth of the evil one, and then a birth of the man child into heaven at the same on the same day. And I believe it looks like it's gonna be 11th/12th of June. Okay, look out. And then again, that's to draw out, to deliver, to equip, to rescue, to draw out, to deliver. Oh my gosh, thank you, Lord. I have more of those, but I'm not gonna get into all of them right now. And then right here on 6/11, that same day, right here, 6/11, day the faithful are taken. Jupiter just happens to be right at the toe of the twins, and it's about the twins being born. Like I said, an evil twin born in the world, and a good twin born into heaven, in a sense. And there were twins all over the Bible. You got Cain and Abel. You got different ones who were representations of that. And then Jupiter is not only the represents the king planet, or the birth of Jupiter out of Virgo was Revelation 12 sign, which is the man child. And then this is the Son of God coming after it like a bull with the horns. He's right there with the bull. And if you were to read Witness of the Stars by E.W. Bullinger, he talks about how the bull symbolism of Taurus is a depiction of the Redeemer coming back for his bride, which is Jupiter that exited Virgo, Revelation 12 sign, but now it's here, and he's coming back with horns to get her. Okay. Also, Jupiter represents the god Jupiter, or even all the way back to what Jupiter represents, which is Nimrod, and it's a version of the Antichrist, and Satan. And right here, Satan or Jupiter is in right here. This is right in this area is the Silver Gate, in between Gemini and Taurus. And you got down here, you have Orion, and you have this other one up here, and this is the Silver Gate. And so Jupiter or the Antichrist or Satan will be kicked out of heaven through the Silver Gate. And then what's going on in the Golden Gate? Well, it just so happens that there's a full moon on, again, 6/11 is a full moon, and that's the moon just happens to be between Sagittarius and Ophiuchus in the Golden Gate. This is where the Golden Gate is. Do some research if you don't know. This is the Golden Gate, and then this is the Silver Gate. And by the way, on 9/1 the moon was in the Silver Gate. Anyway, I'm not getting into all that. Exactly, the Silver Gate. Moon's right here. A full moon on 6/11/25 in the Golden Gate. Because the moon is a representation also. This is a representation of the man-child, which is the faithful also, but it's also a representation of Satan, Jupiter, the god Jupiter, of Zeus, and going back to Nimrod. And then we have the moon is also a representation of the faithful bride, because the moon reflects the sun, or the Son of God. Okay, boom, right there. Okay, the last thing I'm going to get into here to conclude this whole video is these two jack wagons. I know it may seem impossible, it may seem outrageous and all this stuff, but they will be together again. He will come back to life. He will die and then come back to life whenever it is, okay? But I think this is massive right now, what I have, and I'm just so excited. The downloads I'm getting from the Lord are unprecedented. But watch this. So he is the 266 Pope, and that's 2 6s and 1 6, which is a version of 666. 2 6s and 1 6, and he is 666. When you add those together, 266 plus 666, you get 932. And these both right there, this is a picture of them together on backwards 23rd of September in 2015. 23rd of September, okay? Now watch this. Okay, now from that day, again, 23rd of September, right here, 23rd of September is 266 plus 666. And many of the things I've shared, I got hundreds of things. But from that date that they were together in that picture to the day they're going to show up together to the world, and which kicks off the tribulation, is 9 years and 266 days. And 9 in biblical numerology is judgment. 9 is judgment. And then remember I showed you how Pope Francis equals judgment. And then this is the 266th Pope, which is judgment. You have 9 is judgment, and Pope Francis equals judgment, and that's 266 days. 9 years and 266 days. Also, remember this is 932. You add this to this, and that's 932. Well, we have 9 And what's 26 plus 6? 9. And then 26 plus 6 is 32. 932 right here. Or 23rd of September, either 2015 when they both got together, or the Revelation 12 sign is on 23rd of September, which they're both on the 266th day of the year. And that's a massive off-the-charts coincidence? I think not. Okay, so boom, that's it. That's what I have to share. So don't take the blue pill Antichrist Obama, who is a clone of Akhenaten, and I've proven it in so many different ways. He has the same exact creases right here. His nose the same, his mouth's the same. The only reason why the eye and stuff is because it's all stylized from here, because he was an Egyptian pharaoh. And Akhenaten was from Assyria, and he meets every bit of the biblical description, and no one else does, period. Nobody. I've done all the research. I've tapped into massive archaeological evidence and all kinds of stuff. He is going to bring you the blue pill. Do not take it. Do not take it. Do not take it. And right now, as soon as you can, accept Jesus while you have time, because time is almost up. And I'm not exaggerating. Whether it's this exact timeline or not, the numerology will still match in somehow, some way, because it just keeps matching. It keeps showing up, and it keeps showing up all kinds of ways. Do not accept. Do not take this blue pill. Okay, he is the guy, and Pope Francis will be his false prophet. Mark my words. I've seen it already. The Lord showed me them already as who they are, who they will be, and in dreams and visions already. And I'm just trying to find ways to show you without just showing up on YouTube and saying, hey, this is a dream I had a long time ago, or this vision I had years ago, and you just believe me. No, I'm trying to bring you some kind of evidence. Something to spark your interest, or say, hey, there might be something to this, or maybe I should consider Jesus, maybe, for my salvation, because these guys are ready to destroy you and use you or kill you, or all the above. I don't know how. The thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus said, I've come that they may have life, and they may have it abundantly, or to the full. You want life to the full? Accept Jesus right now. Believe in your heart. Believe that He is the Son of God and God raised him from the dead. That's all you have to do. And believe it in your heart of hearts, all the way down to your deep core, and say, I don't want to be my God anymore in my life. I want Jesus to be my leader, my master. And once you do that, you're born again of Him. So that is simple as that. And I'll leave it to Him to do the rest. So anyway, I'm just really, man, this is crazy. This is on the doorstep. Finally, it's on the doorstep. So I'm going to leave it at that. And I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone who's ever supported this ministry and what I've done. And man, it's been really hard for a long time, and especially this last year and even a few months, it's been so difficult. And I've had a lot less donations and a lot less support than I used to, because it's just dragging on and on and on. And a lot of people are getting weary. A lot of YouTube channels are gone that used to be around, and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy what it's come to now. But just hang on a little bit longer for you faithful, and the ones who, if you're questioning, pray to the Lord, man. He'll help you. He'll show you that He is the Lord. And hopefully it's not. And then when these things come, you're waiting a little bit. I mean, when these things come, you're going to see some evidence of this. But you better get on your knees, and you better come to Him right away, because the time will be super, super short. It'll be almost up. And he says, if at any point till the very end, if you cry out, He'll come to you. He'll answer you. So anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. But also I want to ask anyone who's able to give. Again, I have, I'm on borrowed time, but with money and everything to get, I need to get groceries again soon. And any kind of support you can help. I have links in the description box below for PayPal, and also Zelle-Pay. You can sign up with Zellpay.com, or I have a P.O. box as well. But I mean, some of this stuff's not going to matter if this happens. But in the meantime, I can still use stuff right away. I mean, we really need food for my family. We're getting on the edge again. Thank you for everyone who supported me when we were way behind the last time, and we got the rent and the food just paid, and there was a little extra, whatever. But I knew that was going to run out, and it just started about running out, and we got to go again to get food and stuff. So if you're able to give, please, thank you so much, and God bless you. And we'll just leave it at that. And this stuff, whenever this is, we're on the edge of this. This is happening. I'm pretty sure this year, but It looks like it's about to happen in June. So, but again, we'll see. So I'll leave it at that. This is Exalted Lamb 1. God bless you. Over and out.